from Mapua. And I would like to thank everyone for the opportunity to share our research. And our research is entitled Facility Location Problem to Identify the Optimal Allocation for the Near Expired COVID-19 Vaccine. And this is a joint research by two universities, so Mapua University, Philippines, and Bina University, Indonesia. And following are the authors, or Perwira Redi, who is joining me right now. Me, Gerlyn Altes, and my colleagues, Justine, Kyle Chan, Arni, Acla, and other authors are Dr. Parida, Jewpanya, Dr. Agung, Redioka, Dr. Yogi, Prasetyo, and Dr. Michael Nayatiang. And following are the content of my presentation, introduction, methodology, followed by the results and analysis, and then finally conclusion and recommendation. All right, let me begin. So as it is known, the coronavirus 2019, or popularly known as COVID-19, was declared pandemic by the World Health Organization by March of 2020, and it has affected billions of people and claimed millions of lives. And the world was actually unprepared when the COVID-19 virus spread globally, and the virus didn't spare any country, even the first world, off guard. And just like any other countries, the Philippines was also greatly affected by the COVID-19 virus. And on January of 2020, the Philippines Department of Health verified the country's first confirmed case of COVID-19, and sadly, it's just a matter of days before the death from COVID-19 was reported. And fast forward a year after, January 2021, the country reported 500,000 COVID-19 cases and around 9,000 fatalities. And the virus has affected the world greatly, thus it is necessary that we need to create a vaccine against the COVID-19 that can lower the risk of getting it and spreading the virus that causes COVID-19. And as seen in the news, big pharmaceutical companies as well as the leaders and corporations have worked feverishly to develop a vaccine to combat the virus. And in the last quarter of 2020, the vaccine against COVID-19 was developed, and this resulted to a high demand for vaccine. And though there is high demand in COVID-19 vaccine, there is still unfortunate event like a wastage of the vaccine. And according to WHO Africa, there has been around 450,000 doses of COVID that were disposed due to the lack of financial resources and poor vaccine rollout. And the Philippines rely only in vaccine donations. However, the vaccine rollout at that time is actually very slow, that there are almost around 2 million donated vaccines that could have expired. The need for vaccination, these vaccines should not go to waste due to the expiration from slow rollouts or oversupply. So it would be helpful if we could develop a model that would be that would enable the storage facilities in Manila, Philippines, to provide a strategic plan on what can be done to the nearly expired COVID-19 vaccine. And this study aims to maximize the near expired COVID vaccines in cases of oversupply by distributing them in neighboring facilities at a low delivery cost, and by utilizing the P-median model. And for the methodology, so we have selected the P-median problem. So the P-median problem is a distance-based optimization problem in which P facilities must be located and assigned to a demand point map to a single facility, and minimizing the sum of all demand points corresponding facilities. And following are the data we have collected in table 1. We can see here all gathered data. So we check available hospitals in Manila. So area of study is Manila, Philippines, capital of the Philippines. And we have checked 10 district and 10 hospitals. We gathered also the unvaccinated population, the corresponding location of the hospital for the distance calculation. And the number of delivery trips depends on the unvaccinated population divided by the capacity of the truck size, of the small size truck that we initially decided to use. And for the mathematical notation, at first we have the following indices. So we have I, set of demand, and J, set of facilities. And P is the count of facility to be, input count of facility to be located. HI, demand at node I, element I, and divided by the truck capacity. And D is the distance of facilities to one another. And then CIJ is the cost per trip. And we have the following decision variables based from the model. So we have XI and YIJ. So the decision XI is the if facility, it will be 1 if the facility was assigned as supplier, 0 if otherwise. And then the YIJ, one condition is if the selected receiver was covered by the assigned facility. And so our objective function is to minimize the resulting product of of the demand, the distance, and the cost, and the x and y variables. And these are subject to the following constraints. So we have here equation 2. So this is to ensure that one demand node is covered by only one facility. And equation 3 is xj will only be 1 if there is an assigned facility. And equation 4, the total number of facilities to be located is depending on the p-value. And then equation 5 and equation 6 are the integrality constraints that either 1 or 0. And for the results and analysis, so we have used, for the processing of data, we have used the AMPL modeling language and the Groby software to simulate the model. And following are the results. So we have here table 2 and table 3. So at table 2, we can see here the p-values on the top header and versus the cluster corresponding. So we have tried until p equals 10 since there are 10 cluster. So if p equals 1, the C1 will be selected as the supplier. If p equals 2, this will be the selected supplier, and same with the following cluster. And then at table 3, this shows the selected receiver at so we are showing here only the p equals 3, p equals 4, and p equals 5 result. Equals 3, the following are the facility selected, and left side will be the selected cluster or receiver. So if p equals 3, C5 will be supplying C2, C4, C5 itself, and C6. And same with the other clusters here. So in table 3, and starting at p equals 4, we are observing that there are supplier nodes that only help, so no other corresponding receiver. So after completing P until P equals 10, so we were able to tabulate all the objective function result, and these are expressed in Philippine peso. So we notice, we have observed that as the P value increases, the objective function is decreasing. The objective function decreases also. And the delivery cost is at P equals 1. And at P value equals 5 or 6 can be selected since these have lower objective function value. However, we would like that all facilities being utilized. So we are selecting P value of 3, and we are suggesting this solution to be used in practice since at P equals 3, all the assigned supplier nodes have corresponding receiver. And finally, as for the conclusion, so based on the simulation results, it can be concluded that the p-value is inversely proportional to the objective function. And the higher the number of p-values set by the researchers, the lower the cost. And with the use of the p-median model, we were able to locate facilities that will supply the near expired COVID-19 vaccines at low delivery cost. So this study would be helpful in assisting during vaccination rollouts planning and decision-making stage. For the recommendation, so we recommend to conduct analysis on a much broader geographical scale, such as regional or national, to accommodate the additional facilities with a depleting supply of COVID-19 vaccines, and also to collaborate with the local government, so we will be able to know the real-time vaccine demand from their system. And to have a wide range of delivery truck sizes, since we initially uses only small size truck, and to provide a more diverse rental cost option. And then finally, the research should be undertaken over a sufficient period to examine the intended purpose and associated challenges adequately. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation.